Hello, I'm Skeldoor. I'm trying to collect every single axe in old school Runescape, one metallic tier at a time. The only weapons I'm allowed to use are the axes I've collected along the way. Right now I'm unlocking the steel tier, and I'm about to uncover a very unusual bug that gives retro game vibes, from an era where online updates, patches and DLC didn't exist. If a mistake was made in the release version of the game, it was in there for good, and developers had to live with the consequences. This is pickaxes. You know what? I'm actually quite excited to share this episode today. We're up to the steel tier of axes now, and I've got a bit of a wacky plan that I've been cooking up for the steel thrown axe, and I'm genuinely looking forward to sharing it. Last episode we finished the iron tier, which means three things. We have a brand new suite of upgraded weapons to use, which is very nice. And we have a new adventure ahead of us with the steel tier. Also, we need to pick up our rewards from the iron tier. Remember, after each tier, we're gonna let ourselves pick up the metallic boots, the gloves, and the defender. So how about we get started with that? The nice thing about these boots is that we're gonna have a nice little climb as with a slayer requirement for each of these jumps up. Yes, please don't think about the fact that I need 83 slayer to kill the mages that drop the dragon boots. I don't know, we'll deal with that later. Let's just enjoy that. Right now, I'm just squishing slimes. It's funny actually, one time I actually got reincarnated as a slime, but then I woke up and realized I was just a weeb. Very quickly, that is the iron boots. They're pretty swanky, a very minor upgrade over the bronze boots, but you know what they say? Valamor wasn't built in a day. I need to take a look now at the recipe for disaster quest line. I think I'm going to go for the fish cake part of the quest next, as that should be relatively chill. Damn, even for a RuneScape character, this guy's fucking ugly. He's got a helmet. He's not bloody supposed to have an helmet. The fish cake part of the quest was actually pretty easy to sort out. I just need to cook it now, and of course it's fine. Didn't think I'd burn it, did you? Handing this in progresses the quest ever so slightly and unlocks our gloves. Here we are, 325 gold pieces for a nice little reward, the iron gloves. Our final reward for this tier is the iron defender. Once again, I do have to say that I hardly know her. I think just to hurry up the token collecting here, I'm going to pop around and grab myself a full set of black armor. The black armor is the first tier of armor that doesn't degrade when fighting the animated armor. So there's a 100% chance to get all of your armor pieces back when it dies. Speaking of 100%, don't worry about subscribing. 100% of my viewers are already subscribed, so it's fine. Also, the black armor now drops 20 tokens per kill, which will speed up the collection a bit. Cool. So I've collected 500 tokens now, and if I right click here really fast, it says null. Has it always done that? Defense level coming in while we're on the defender grind. I don't know how long these tokens are going to last us, but I think we'll end up having to do a few trips at least. Oh fuck, I just axed myself. I did not realize these Cyclopses could drop steel battle axes. I'm sorry, that was so unexpected. I'm not usually like this, I promise. Guys, if you're like me and you suffer from premature axe ejaculation, just know that there is help for conditions like this. And that's why today's video is sponsored by Him's Daily Chewables. No, I'm entirely joking, this is just a bit. So that does mean that we have the steel battle axe all of a sudden, which is nice. Definitely unexpected, but a good thing. Steel is actually a fairly hefty upgrade over iron, so that will help us clean up the remaining kills for our defender. And speaking of which, there is our defender. 87 kills. Again, that's very much under drop rate, so I'm happy. Lovely chunk of progress made there. Strengthened ourselves up nicely for the rest of this steel adventure. Later on in the series, I'm going to need to go for the crystal set of axes. Crystal is locked by a fairly hefty 70 skill wall, so I'm going to try and give myself a leg up. I'll be doing birdhouse runs on Fossil Island over time, just slowly in the background to work our way up to 70 hunter. And to do that, I need to crack out the Bone Voyage quest. Nicely done. We also need some clockworks made, which can only be crafted in the player-owned house at the crafting table, which I don't actually have the construction level to do yet, so Daddy's Home quest for the free construction XP, and a little run-of-the-mill construction training. A crafting table has been created. I can make increasingly higher level birdhouses, scaling with my hunter, crafting and woodcutting levels, but these low tier ones will get us started for now. You can load them up, wait like an hour or so, and then you can reap the rewards for some near zero time hunter XP. Everyone's been making these fun facts in their videos so far, and I fucking hate it. All that fun is genuinely making me sick. Everyone's just copying each other, circle jerking over the meme of fun facts. So you know what? Here's 3 unfun facts about Fossil Island. Did you know that chopping these burnt trees doesn't give wood, but in fact charcoal? Yeah, I hope coal is the only present you get for Christmas this year. Also, if you travel to the east of the main fossil island, you can find Wilhelm. What a stupid name. Wilhelm is a reference to silly little Kaiser Wilhelm II, who just loved islands. Would you believe that Jagex has individual names for each of these birdhouses? There's Beak Bungalow, Chirp Chalet, Nest Nook, and Peep Palace. What? Wait, no, what? You don't believe me? Yeah, no, that's probably good. They don't call them that. That would be stupid, in fact. Alongside some background hunter training, I'll also be doing some farming as well. I need to try and keep the tree runs going, because there's also a 70 farming requirement. So while the birdhouse and tree runs were bubbling away in the background, Jagex decided to up the ante and release a whole new axe category, the two-handed chopping hatchets. With the new axes out there in the wild, we do have a bit of catching up to do. We need to take a few steps back in order to pick up the 2 previous tiers of two-handed axes. Two-hand axes are part of the forestry expansion. They can be obtained by combining regular axes with two-handed axe handles. Did I get that right? These are purchasable with the forestry specific currency called anime bark. Anime bark is obtained from taking part in the random events that happen within forestry, which occur whenever there's a group of players just woodcutting in the same general area. Forestry itself gets a lot of hate on Reddit, and I don't think it's all justified. I do like it, I think it's nice. It's more distractions and diversions which give you something to work towards while you're just on a boring woodcutting grind. People complain about the events being too infrequent or that it takes a long time to get all the items, but if you're going towards 99 woodcutting anyway, what's the difference really? I'll need a two-handed handle. Two-handed handle? Is that what they've called them? I'll need a two-handed handle for every two-handed axe that I want to make, which means I need 500 oak logs and 10,000 bark for every single one. And just like that, we're ready to start our new collection by crafting the two-handed bronze axe. You know what? This axe actually looks kind of sick. I'm probably one of the very few people in this game that actually own this weapon because there's absolutely zero need to ever craft a bronze one of these. But you know, cool weapon, cool little animation, and we can keep the collection in the bank too now to keep track of them all. So I very much rushed over there the 10,000 bark that I just had to gather for that last axe. But now we need to get the iron tier two-handed axe. So I just thought I'd show off a few of the more interesting events. There's the beekeeper event. Here you can help build beehives using the logs you've been collecting. This one's nice because you can trade in the event items that you get for additional bark. That's a nice little boost. There's also the druid ritual, which drops a flower necklace. In this clip here, I was engaging with the dumb jokes that Sears use. And I said I'd flash my man tits if I got the necklace drop, and then immediately got the drop. Fantastic. Bark is very slow to collect. It's approximately, for me at least, 10 hours of AFKing and definitely not 100% attention paying for 10k bark. But I've finally gotten enough for the iron two-hander. I am enjoying myself with forestry though, so I'm going to be working on this in the background and just casually chop some logs from time to time. I also saw quite a few drop parties on this grind. I genuinely think at some points during this filming process, you could have been genuinely pretty good GP per hour if you were quick with your telegrabs. That is level 77 woodcutting for even better axes. Also, the beekeeper event gives a very tiny amount of construction XP, so there's a construction level. Lastly, for the forestry section, the pheasant event has its own little cosmetics you can wear. Very cute. So we're actually ready now to continue on with the steel tier. And for this one, I wanted to do something that I've never really done before, and also to try and make it as much of a axe themed challenge as possible. I'll show you what I mean. We're going to head over to Ice Mountain and start up the Below Ice Mountain quest. It is actually a requirement for Desert Treasure 2, which will eventually lock the Soul Reaper axe, so that's kind of neat as well. One of the requirements for the quest is a loaf of bread, so here's a clip of me burning my bread dough. Oh wait, no, sorry, I guess that must have been the wrong clip. Has this land always been this landslidey? I feel like this area looks very different to how I remember it. For the first part of the axe theming in this little section, we have a genuine axe-related benefit here. During this fight, you can pickaxe the walls to help weaken the boss. You know, we gotta take this axe content in whatever form it comes in.
Victory!
Big reveal time. This is the reason we're here. The Camdozal Vault. This vault is a tricky little maze that changes every time you come here. You've got 60 seconds to loot as many lockboxes as possible and then escape. If you're not out in under 60 seconds, you're going to be kicked out by security, along with all the loot that you've obtained on that run. Oh, and it's gated behind 750 Baronite shards. What the fuck's a Baronite shard? Baronite shards are the next axe theme part of this little adventure. To obtain them, we can mine them from these little deposits over here on this side of the dungeon. You know, we're going to be using the axes to get the axes. Mining here gets me both shards and deposits can be broken down for even more shards. Woo! It is exceedingly rare to meet anyone else down here, and the only person I did doesn't even want to talk to me. Smashing these deposits is a little nice break away from the mining cycle and gives us a chance to look over here at the furnace. The furnace is where we store all of the shards, and we also have a selection of buffs that we can purchase. I do think the only one that is overly relevant here is the mining buff, but we'll get that in a bit. Okay, so I've been mining for like an hour now. I think we're just going to go for our first attempt at the vault. I have not done much research on this. All I know is that it's the second tier of loot boxes that drop the axes we need, and I've got 60 seconds to get in and out. Oh god, I really don't know what I'm doing. God, you've got to click through every door. Okay, that was pretty terrible. Jeez, I guess I'm going to go back to mining for an hour. 40 mining, swiftly followed by 41 mining. I think I'm going to go ahead and get the mining buff now. Not sure how long I'll be down here, so I think it's worth it. When you've got the mining buff, you get these little columns of light that light up, I guess, near the mining area. Another vault run. Here we go. I don't really have much of a strategy, but surely at 30 seconds I should just turn around and try and get back. Okay, that one was a little bit better. It's still not amazing. 60 seconds is really not a lot of time to get all the way through and all the way back. Another vault run, here we go. That was my cleanest one yet. Are we going to be rewarded for that? Yes, we actually are going to be rewarded. Very nice. That's the steel axe, the steel hatchet. We can tick that off our collection log. So something to consider is I actually do need another axe for the two-handed variant of this. So I guess maybe I do the hatchet part of my grind twice. I could always get it from a different place. What do you think? I think for now at least I'm going to go and try and get every axe twice from the same place. Oof, the steel pickaxe. I don't really want that. Part of my rules is that I don't want to get, two different types of axes from the same place. So I'm going to have to go ahead and drop that. But you know what? A steel pickaxe isn't a terrible idea. A better pickaxe should mean that I will mine the baronite faster. So that means maybe the second hatchet will come down around faster too. Yeah, okay, let's go and get the steel pickaxe. Just for a little update on when in time we are, Valamore is here now, and I do want to make the most of it. So I'm going to go and do the new quest, and that should give us access to that massive new landmass. 1, 2, 3, Valamore. This place is actually kind of sick. There's been a lot of complaints about the Colosseum and the balancing, but this place genuinely feels very alive and new, and I do actually love it. Over on the far side of the savannah, there's a few nasty bandits, and we're here because these guys drop our next upgrade. There we go. That wasn't terrible at all. The steel pickaxe. Again, the stats are not the most important thing here. It's the mining speed, as I'm pretty sure we'll get at least one tick faster now at Kalamdozel. Oh, but before we go back though, we can't forget to tick it off the collection log. Mining with this new pickaxe should be noticeably faster, and that's only going to help cut down the time that would take to get to the second hatchet. Ooh, that's kind of cool. That is the wieldable hammer, and I guess another collection log slot completed. I found another unique item. I think this one is just for a bit of lore potentially. I know you can take them to the Varrock Museum for kudos. 44 mining, blazingly quick now with the steel pick. Okay, another run, and I want to try and go for that big elite chest at the end, at least just to say I've done it once. Oh, I actually managed to get one. And get out as well. Okay, that was kind of a waste of the Baronite shards, but that was good. I can say that I've done it now. Ah, fuck. I delved too deep and too greedily. Yeah, I kind of ruined it. It just sort of spits you out there with no loot at all. I genuinely had to mine for like almost an hour to get that run. It's so harsh. Special hammer number 2. I mean, not useful to have more than one of these, but you can trade them in for shards, which is nice. Okay, another run. I really need to stop messing around. I'm just being too greedy. We're gonna go straight back in though. Let's go. And would you believe it? After many hours mining rocks, flirting with dwarves, and running through this terrible maze, I have done the impossible. I got the second steel axe. And with this two-handed steel axe created and securely stored in my bank, all that remained was my biggest challenge yet, the steel throne axe. You know what, we are really saving the best for last here today. The steel throne axe is another kind of rare item in old school RuneScape. Other than just cheating and buying one from the shop, there is only a single way to obtain them. Gorax are the only monster in the game to drop these, and they drop them at a rate in 1 in 42. But as it turns out, it might not be as simple as just killing the Gorax straight up. You might already know Gorax, as they are the place to pick up the shield left half if you're looking to make a full dragon shield. Or as the place to pick up some quick uncut gems, as they seem to exclusively roll the rare drop table. But that isn't the intended purpose of the Gorak, and it's not always the case. As far as we're aware, there's a bug in the code responsible for handling the Gorax drop table. Let me explain. This is some example code to summarize how a general NPC's drop table functions. See here, in order to decide which item is going to be dropped when a monster is killed, a random number is generated. In this case, between 0 and 128, purely for example's sake. After this, a check is done on the number we have generated to ask, is this number less than 3? And if so, we will give an item from the rare drop table. Then, if the number is not less than 3, but less than 4, we would fall into this next case, and instead we would drop the iron halberd for this example. Super simple stuff, nothing crazy so far. Next up, here we have some example code to summarize how a Gorak drop table will function. You'll see that the overall structure is similar. We first generate a random number to decide which item we will drop, but before we continue on to the code which determines the drop that we actually get, we have this new conditional check of whether the current process has protected access. It's important for this that you understand the basics of protected access, so let's have a little chat about that first. This is an object in the game code that represents your Runescape account. The current state of your account is stored in this object. For example, it could be your XP across your skills, or the completion status of your quest list. There exists many changes to your account that can occur through regular normal gameplay that I'll refer to here as blocking actions. Examples of these would be changing your username, updating a quest completion status, casting telegrab, or even just playing with your kitten. Each of these actions would like to make a change to your account's status. And problems can occur when each of these actions are fighting to update the status of your account at the same time. If all these processes were to happen at the same time, it's possible that 4 different versions of your account could be generated, each with slightly different information depending on which process was occurring at the time. And so to stop this, a locking mechanism is used to ensure that our blocking actions really can block each other. In this example, if you were to change your username, the lock would become active during this process, so that if you were to somehow update a quest status, cast teleblock, and play with your kitten all at the same time, these actions would be blocked from occurring. This locking and blocking of sensitive account data is what Jagex refers to as protected access. Okay, so now that you're an expert in Jagex's internal gubbins, let's go back to the drop table for the Gorax. At this stage, we are past the protected access check. We have locked the player's account so that we can modify it if needed. Now the Gorax have a quest item associated with them, the Gorak Claw. The game needs to decide whether to drop one of those as well. So once again, we generate a random number, this time between 0 and 2. Then we check, is this number that we generated a 0? If so, we will start the process to drop the Gorak Claw. Coupled with this process, the quest log itself is also updated to say that we have now obtained this claw from the Gorak. That's why we needed the protected access. So what do you think? Can you see the problem with this approach? If we're on line 5 and we're successful in getting protected access, we will overwrite the number we had previously generated for our drop deciding with another much smaller number. This means that we will always land in this first drop case of dropping a rare drop table item. I mean, yeah, damn, like even Modash said this is some anomalous code. The solution to this problem for us is to ensure that this drop process cannot get protected access granted to it. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. We still need to get ourselves up to the point in the quest line where we can kill the Gorax. Whoa, before we do any questing, look at this guy's username. That is a strong, respectable username if I've ever seen one. Bloody good stuff there, mate. There are a few little tasks that maybe and will and definitely probably possibly could need doing before we get ready to go to the Gorax potentially. The main requirement is progress through the Fairy Tale Part 2. Now that obviously requires Fairy Tale Part 1 along with any requirements of that quest. The Lost City quest is a requirement of that, for example, and in a bizarre twist of fate, it's actually kind of axe-related content. The main focus of this quest is that I need to be able to chop down a magical tree, and to do that I need to get an axe in a region where weapons are forbidden, and so I can't bring my own. That just gives us more opportunity to collect more axes. Woo. These zombies during the quest have the chance to drop an axe for us, so here we go. Yes, we've actually fucking done it. After 3 episodes, months of grinding, we've finally done the impossible. We've finally unlocked the bronze hatchet. Let's tick that off the collection log and geez, yeah, I really don't have it in me to keep up that level of enthusiasm about anything, honestly. This tree spirit is no match for our axe and also the protect from melee, but believe me, it's really just the axe and the muscles and the muscles and the axe that are doing all the work here. Very nice. We'll take a few of these branches because I'm pretty sure they'll come in handy one day. There we go, quest complete. And requirement numero 9 is over and done with. Let's move on. We can actually start the first half of the fairy tale now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. we will actually need level 40 thieving for a later portion of this quest. So I'm going to carry out some antisocial behaviour orders on this quaint little fruit stall to get us a little bit closer to that. I have never really looked at this place, and it's actually kind of cool. It's got these crazy thorns and decorations and shelves. Pretty neat. Am I really going to defile this grave for an axe? Of course I am. A potential little blocker during this quest is that Maligni Morigni randomly chooses 3 items that we need in order to enchant our secutors. Luckily today, he has been pretty kind to us. Blue dragon scales and jangaberries we can just find on the floor. And the mosquito proboscis will require the jungle cleanup minigame, which itself requires jungle potion quest. So let's quickly fart one of those out. You know, RuneScape gets a lot of praise for having funny, engaging, exciting quests compared to other MMOs. Okay, that's jungle potion done. You know, RuneScape's minigames get a lot of hate, really, for being boring and repetitive, but I don't see it. Oh, here we go. First mosquito. I don't know the drop rate for the proboscis, so fingers crossed. Hey, that was very nice. That was relatively painless. The jangaberry that we need is easy peasy. The blue dragon scale is easy too. Next up, I need to take these 3 items we've collected to the nature spirit. You might remember this place as the place that settled came here relatively recently, but he was too much of a pussy to make this jump across the bridge gap, in case he took damage on his nightmare account. Well, I'm here to show you that he had nothing to worry about, and he should have just gone for it instead of acting like a nerd. The nature spirit gave us some magical secutors, and this is where it gets a little bit dicey. Technically here, we only have this non-axe based weapon in order to kill the tangle root. So if you are particularly axe inclined, I do advise that you look away while we finish him off. Okay, this guy is kind of fucking with me. There we go. Let's go and hand it in. That is a farming and a magic level for that. Not too bad. The requirements for this next section are a bit higher, but if I'm correct, I think we only need the thieving requirement in order to progress. Okay, I needed that level for the section of the quest where I pickpocket from the fairy godfather. Ah, shit. As if I gotta walk all the way back there as well, what the hell? What? I failed again? I swear it said 40, didn't it? Am I being dumb? Why, yes, I googled it. I, in fact, am being dumb. Apparently you need to pickpocket him from behind. Okay, so with that out of the way, we're finally up to the Gorak section of this quest. We've been tasked with collecting some Gorak claws and some flowers, but we can leave the flowers for later. Goraks are actually a little pesky to fight. They never become tolerant to the player, meaning there's no de-aggro timer that I can wait out. And they also have a tendency to hoard you and trap any escape. To make matters worse, they attack with a typeless melee, meaning I can't protect from melee. I've just got to put on my best gear and face tank them basically. When previously talking about the Gorak drop code, I ended on needing to find a method to ensure that this drop process cannot get protected access granted to it, and thus will not run the code to overwrite the random number. Well, this is where I reveal my secret weapon. Back in episode 1, you will hopefully remember that I used the effects of the Cabbage Cape emote to lessen the damage that I took while fighting Treyas Daith. I am hoping that we can find a similar use for it here with the Goraks. Let's test it out. Okay, I've geared up now, and I think this is my best mix of damage, tankiness and prayer. So I'm going to head over to the Gorak plane and see what we're up against. Yeah, you see how they just swarm you as soon as they see you? The bloody bastards. Okay, well, we'll just pick one and see how we do with an entire inventory of lobsters. Okay, I guess that was kind of close. I did think I'd do better than this, so I guess let's just go and restock and try again. I'm going to make sure to buy some potions this time before the fight. I did forget to mention, Gorax will actually drain your stats for each successful hit that they get on you. What absolute cock-swaggling, dick-gaggling, not-gobbling pricks, am I right, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, I've got the potions, and I'm also going to take these swordfish with me now for slightly better heals. The Gorax only attack you once you leave this tile, so I do have a little bit of a breather here. Okay, I'm going to prepare the skill cape emote here. In theory, if we spam this emote right as the Gorak is dying, we should overwrite the protected access, and we should get an item that's not on the rare drop table. You know what? I think the potions have actually made the difference here. I've absolutely smoked this guy. Not exactly sure on the timing of this emote, so I'm just going to spam it here as he dies. Here we go. Oh? I didn't actually do the emote, but the steel plate legs are there. I think that's it. I think that's a non-rare drop table item. I think that genuinely worked. Okay, well, that's sick, I guess. It worked even though I didn't actually do the emote animation, which is a little bit strange, but that's fine. That's sweet. Let's try and kill another. I am definitely going to need to restock every time I do this, but I don't know, man. I think that's genuinely very cool. I'm glad that little emote trick worked. The eagerness of the Gorax really messes up these kills. They keep trying to steal aggro off each other, and I've just got to dance around to try and find the best spot. Wait, what? What? I've got into the fucking wall. What? What is this? I've genuinely never seen this before in my life. Cloud Bank. Cloud Bank. Am I blind for having never noticed this? I am very confused. I don't know what that is. And I can just pop out again and just keep fighting them. Yeah, you just kind of get trapped inside here. Look, it says the cloud doesn't yield to you. And it only seems to work at certain angles as well. I don't know what this is. Anyway, after all this arsing around, it has gotten me closer to killing the Gorak, but I think I'm gonna have to tap out here and refuel. I am wondering though, if I can just find this Gorak that I've mostly killed and then continue killing it. Is this the guy? It is, and he's still hurt. This is great. Okay, well, I'm gonna prepare to emote again and hopefully trigger it fully this time. There we go. It actually did the animation and we got the non-rare drop table item. Very sweet. Okay, so that's good. What is this janky game? At the beginning of this video, I said this bug gave me retro game vibes, but I actually haven't spoken about what this means to me. A few examples came to mind, but there's a classic example of a developer oversight that stood out from the rest. In the Game Boy Advance titles, Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald, there is a cable car which extends up Mount Chimney. While riding on this cable car, occasionally you can see hikers walking beneath you. However, there's actually a chance for that character below to be either a Zigzagoon or a Poochyena. Well, there would be a chance if it weren't for a bug in the code that meant that this code path never gets executed. This means that piece of content would never be shown to the player, and that's the version of the game that had millions of copies printed and shipped out worldwide. Did Gorax end up in a similar state? Was the problem discovered too late into the life cycle of the Gorak, and so to keep players happy they just never changed it for like 18 years? Who knows? But anyway, let's go back to the Gorax. I think something good might be coming up. Okay, so I'm wondering if I can tag this half dead one now, leave, and then come back, and hopefully he'll still be highlighted so I can see him even easier. Hey, look at that. He's highlighted so straight away. That's kind of sneaky, I love it. Okay, this guy is mostly dead now. Let's try the emote spamming. Hey! I've literally killed 3 of these guys and it's a 1 in 42. That's fantastic. I'm very glad I didn't go dry on these guys. They've been proper burning through my food. So let's get ganging. Oh, would you look at that? It does look kind of neat with the white armor too. I am very happy. Especially very happy that the cabbage cake tactic worked. That genuinely feels amazing that I figured that out. We can also now tick that off our collection log. That is actually good. This one's actually been kind of fun. And if we go back, current tier is now black. There are less items for grabs in this tier, but I am sure that one is going to be very fun. I've got some good stuff planned for that one actually, and again, I can't wait to share it. But for now, I'll catch you next time. See you later.